We talked about this, but I need to really underscore this. The Democrat Party seeks to imprison Donald Trump. 91 felonies in 4 different districts in 4 different states, local, state, and federal. Not one of which has any merit at all. I don't care what the legal analysts say or any judge says. I've gone through it, and I know the difference. The bottom line is that Joe Biden does not want an opponent in the general election. He doesn't want an opponent. And I want you to think about that. And the criminal law system is trying to deliver for him in Democrat cities, in Democrat states, and of course the Democrats that run the Department of Justice. Which means they don't want you to have a candidate that Joe Biden would win by default. Even if a president can run or a candidate can run when they're in prison, obviously there's just not enough voters who would vote for him. And there wouldn't be time for the Republicans to nominate somebody. I doubt they even have a process for these types of circumstances. Who would? That is what's going on here. This is more than election interference. This is an attempt to destroy our entire electoral process. The Democrat Party apparatchiks, they tried to take Trump off the ballot. It failed. Now they want him not just indicted, not just convicted. They want him in prison. You don't bring 91 felony indictments in multiple cities, in multiple jurisdictions, just because you want indictments. You're trying to put the man in prison. And obviously this is coordinated. Can you prove it, Mark? We can never prove a negative, but I can prove that it's all happening at the same time. I can prove there was communication with the Justice Department and the White House. I can prove there was communication with the DA's office in Fulton County and the White House. I can prove there was communication between the judge in the Manhattan case and the federal judge in Washington in the January 6th case. I can prove a lot. Plus, I don't have to prove anything. They're watching TV, they're reading the news, they know exactly what's going on, and they're responding to it. They hear Joe Biden repeatedly scream about, if Donald Trump wins, we will lose our country. If Donald Trump wins, people will be sent to prison. If Donald Trump wins, it's the end of democracy. The judges hear it, who are appointed by Democrats, the prosecutors, Soros, Democrat prosecutor, they all hear it. And they all have their marching orders. Now, the level of treachery of the Democrat Party cannot be overstated. Let me put it to you this way. You can see the totalitarian positions, the totalitarian actions of Biden, Sanders, Schumer. You saw them with Pelosi. You can see them with all of them. This is not a party that believes in America. This is not a party that believes in our history and our founders. This is not a party that believes in the American citizenry, which they are trying to replace. This is a party that is the umbrella operation of the American Marxist ideology. They sound like Marxists. They promote issues like Marxists. If it walks like a Marxist and it spews hate like a Marxist, it's a Marxist. I don't mean in the pure Marxist sense. That's why I wrote the book, in the American Marxist sense. And now I want to get to this issue, having laid the foundation of Chuck Schumer today. Chuck Schumer is what I call another self-hating Jew. Chuck Schumer is all about power, nothing more, nothing less. He doesn't give a damn about our country. He doesn't give a damn about the debt. He doesn't give a damn about the border. He wants to load up the judiciary with radical leftists. It's all about power because fascists and Marxists, that's all they care about. And that's all Chuck Schumer cares about. Bernie Sanders, the same thing. Throwing out 32-day week. Bernie Sanders is an economic moron, is a financial illiterate, and is a Marxist. He's an ideologue. So you don't really need to know anything to be an ideologue. And then you have others in the Democrat Party. But here's what they have in common. They hate the state of Israel. Chuck Schumer has walked a fine line for a long time, but today he exposed himself once and for all. How can he hate Israel, Mark? I don't know. There are people in Israel who hate Israel, like Ehud Barak. Schumer is in New York, huge Jewish community, but huge Islamist community. He worries about candidates challenging him like AOC. Biden worries about that crowd, too. The Democrat Party has now been devoured by the Islamists and the Marxists, by the Bernie Sanders and the AOCs, by the Rashida Tlaibs, and so forth. That's their new core constituency. Not blue-collar workers, not Italian, German, Irish ethnicities, not the Jewish community, no. It's this. This is who they are. It's ideological now. Because the Democrat Party is a totalitarian party that wants to put its opponents in prison, like Donald Trump. They impeached him twice over nothing. They pressured the appointment of a criminal investigation and a special counsel over a Russia hoax that they, in fact, triggered. They have launched all these criminal investigations and charges. They have attempted to bankrupt him, and they may succeed. This is not a party that wants a fair and square election, a fair and square debate. This is a party that wants to destroy its opponents, destroy them. This party, the Democrat Party, is not only trying to destroy and imprison Donald Trump, they're trying to destroy the prime minister of another country, Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. When you read the filth, the cancer, the poison of a Thomas Friedman, who's a truly sick, self-hating Jew, in my humble opinion, barely literate in his writings, certainly not coherent year to year, decade to decade, a man who embraced communist China and only wished that America were more like the governing system in communist China. I put it in Liberty and Tyranny. It was so outrageous. Kind of backed off. A man who celebrated Vladimir Putin. There's a man who can get things done, but then kind of backed off. Thomas Friedman likes the man with the iron fist, as long as the man of the iron fist is a man who centralizes government, who believes in a radical left agenda. Because Thomas Friedman was raised for a significant part of his young life in a kibbutz in Israel, and the kibbutzes in Israel tend to be very left-wing. And then we have Blinken, a contemptible traitor to the country. So Chuck Schumer goes to the floor of the Senate today and delivers a Stalinist-like speech. He says that the people of Israel must remove this government. The people of Israel must remove Benjamin Netanyahu. They must. And after the war, if they don't, that the United States will shape Middle East policy with or without Israel. Says that Netanyahu must immediately remove the extremists, the radicals in his coalition. These are nothing more than Orthodox Jews who believe in the sanctity of their country, represent small parties. Just another excuse to attack the Jews in Israel, particularly those who actually practice their faith. Never before that I'm aware of has there been an effort to remove a duly elected prime minister or president of an ally by any administration in the United States. We've had administrations attacked for taking out presidents of, for instance, South Vietnam at the time, Diem. Maybe overthrowing governments here and there in Central and South America that were our enemies. But we've never had an administration in our own country. We've never had a political party in our own country committed to the destruction and the coup of a duly elected prime minister in a democratic country before. An ally. As a friend of mine wrote me earlier today, it pays to be an enemy of the United States under this administration, not an ally. So Schumer goes to the floor of the Senate, tells the Israeli people who they should vote for, tells the Israeli people what kind of government they should have, tells the Israeli people there must be a two-state solution, tells the Israeli people what to do and how to do it. Bernie Sanders has been going around saying this is Netanyahu's war. We need to cut them off. Well, they're succeeding. I got word today from the ground level, not the PMs, or the ground level. They're having to ration bombs in Israel now, Mr. Producer. Even though this administration knows what's going on in the north with Hezbollah and a potential war there, Israel's running out of key weapons now. And the Biden administration is happy with it. That's why they're tying any funding of Israel with all sorts of other things that they know Republicans don't support. Biden is starving Israel of weapons right now. Biden has issued executive orders attacking individuals in Judea and Samaria. And today, our State Department put sanctions on 2 major farmers in that part of Israel to try and prevent them from making money, to try and prevent the farmers who grow things and sell things from growing things and selling things. Why? Because they want their land to be given to the terrorists. Meanwhile, case after case of Palestinian terrorists murdering Jews and others in Jerusalem, in Judea and Samaria, and elsewhere. There's no sanctions placed on them. There's not even any reporting done in the United States on this. They want you to believe it's all one way. And we've already told you how they have lied about the statistics, the casualties in Gaza. And they keep lying about it. Because Joe Biden doesn't give a crap about the casualties in Gaza any more than he gives a crap about the casualties on our southern border from fentanyl, from gangs. He doesn't give a crap about the slavery of women and children into sex on the southern border. He doesn't do a damn thing about it. Doesn't give a crap about crime in our inner cities. Doesn't even talk about it. But he's worried, you see, about what's going on with the lives of Gazans. So he's forced to lie, to push a projection